is there a space, and there is on good old Bones here, there's the space between the back of his knee and the floor. So if you're feeling a space between the back of the knee and the floor, that means that this part of your leg is not really being supported. And we have our rollers. So because Bones has a space between the back of the knees and the floor, that could put a little stress on either the legs or the lower back. So I'm gonna, and you can notice if you see a difference. And if you want, you can look on the skeleton for a second. If I increase this space, look what it does to the pelvis. You can kind of see how it kind of pulls the pelvis in this particular kind of way. If these muscles are tight, it's kind of creating something with the pelvis. But if I put this roller under the knees, so there's support with the knees, you can see how the pelvis doesn't feel like it's being pulled or held. If you have a roller, just compare the difference between having the roller under your leg and taking the roller out and noticing which feels better for you. And then I'll give you another choice too. You have no roller, you have roller, and then the third choice that you can play with, and if you don't have a roller, roll up a towel. And tell you the truth, I kind of like a rolled up towel more than a roller. If I'm on the roller too long, sometimes that makes the back of the leg feel a little numb. The third choice is bending the knees and standing the feet. So we could do a scan in any of these positions. We can do the scan with the roller or without the roller, or we can do the scan like we just did, bending the knees and standing the feet. And just noticing which way of these three things feel the most comfortable for you. And take a moment and try all three. Nice thing about teaching is you get to see how everybody lies down. And there's different positions. And if you look, you can see on Bones that his chin is way higher than his forehead while he's lying down. And if you look at the neck, there's really quite a big curve in the neck. So in this position, and usually when I lie on the floor, I'm a little like this, and I can feel a strain behind my neck. So what you can do is just kind of see how you are on the floor. And a nice thing to do if you're experiencing this is getting a pad, and now you can see with a couple of pads under his head, this neck isn't so curved. There's less of a curve in the neck and it may be less of a strain. So what you can do with your legs lying long, just kind of feel how your head's resting on the floor. And if you have a pad or two, and you can see how many pads, and it seems like he's happier with one pad than two pads. You can just try something under your head and see if you like it better or not. And some people will notice that if they do put a pad under or a towel works just as well as one of those knee pads. You can fold up a towel and that will work. And actually a book will work really well too. I could remember I was lucky enough to get my wife an FI with Mia, and she told me, and she wasn't totally moved in yet. She was in Sebastopol, and she just had me get a book from her library that was like the perfect width. She told me the title. She didn't say get a book. She told me exactly which book she wanted, and it was absolutely perfect for under my wife's head. But just notice that putting something under your head takes some strain off your neck. And you may notice that for some people, putting something under your head actually makes it worse. You almost feel like your neck's curving too much the other way. And a lot of that has to do with kind of the shape that we have, which the way we're doing things. So try the pad under the head or not under the head and see which one you like different. Now, what I find amazing in the lesson, usually in the beginning, I feel better with a pad under my head, but about halfway through the lesson, I don't need it anymore, which is kind of interesting. Something's changed. Maybe there's more space in the spine and maybe there's less pulling on the head, but you may find that changing. So once you find that comfortable place for your head, and if you're using a pad, just what we can do is just roll your head with the head on the pad and just notice if it makes it easier for you to roll your head. Do that a few times. Notice, does this work better? Is the movement freer, easier? But if you're looking at Bones here, you can see that his head is way down and this neck really is quite curved. And I have a feeling most people are going to be like that, and being on the side isn't going to be very comfortable. So you may want to put something under your head and find out how much you need under your head so you're comfortable. And after you find just how much you need under your head, so your head and your neck feel in a more comfortable position, just notice if any other parts of you are comfortable or not comfortable. And then think, what else can I do to make myself feel more comfortable? Is there something that would help? Maybe if I put something between my knees, something between the two legs. Does that help me feel more comfortable? And you can kind of see it. I have something right there. You can see we had that roller between the two knees, and already now it looks, whoops. Now it looks like he's not kind of turned in or out as much. He's a little bit more on his side. So that definitely helped the positioning, and Bones is looking a little bit more comfortable. And then we have a choice what we can do with our arms. Is it more comfortable to have the arms along the side like that? Is it more comfortable to maybe stand the hand on the floor like that? Or is it more comfortable to even just put something to support the arm like that? So take a moment and set yourself up on your side so you could stay in this position comfortably for a period of time. which is lying on the front. And the first thing that you can explore is just kind of finding, what are you going to do with your head? Do you keep your head toward the floor, or do you turn your head to one side? Ooh, that's interesting. The one side for Bones is a no-go. The other side works much better for him. Pay attention to your lower back, because you can see right here, this is a pretty extreme curve in his lower back. And because he doesn't have a super big pelvis, I can use this. But maybe one thing you want to explore is putting a rolled up towel or a pad under your pelvis. You can see his back's not as curved now. And you can see whether or not that works a little better. So if you have a rolled up towel, if you have these pads like this, or a pretty firm pillow, a rolled up blanket works really well. You can use that. Now, a lot of people, and you can see, while this kind of helps a little bit, he still needs a little help someplace else. A lot of people will find that putting another pad, rolled up blanket, pillow, putting something under the upper chest by the clavicles, maybe a little below the clavicles. Now you can see that this back is in a much more neutral position, that the curves are much less extreme. So try that. Try something right under your pelvis. See if you can find that spot under the pelvis that feels best. And then see if you can find that place a little under the clavicle on the upper chest that may feel good too, where you're getting some support, where it feels like there's not as much curve in the lower back and there's not as much curve in the neck, that you can kind of feel like this spine is being a little better supported and the position's a little bit more comfortable. Now, there's one other thing that we may want to address here too. And you can see this is a very odd position for the feet to kind of be like that. And that would not be comfortable. If I was going to get work on good old Bones and give him an FI, I would not want to keep him in that position. I would want to do something to help the feet and the ankles out a little bit. And either a rolled up towel or a rolled up towel, just putting something right in front of the ankles, just to help support the ankle joint. So once you can find this comfortable way of being on your front, then find out which side to turn your head is the easiest. Which side feels more comfortable with your head turned toward the right or the left? Just kind of notice the difference of the two.